Really delighted to have Brendan Carr back with us, the FCC Commissioner. Brendan, I'll raise with you what I did with Hillary, the timing of all of this. Regardless of one's political views on the subject, he's been extremely complimentary, Zuckerberg has, of Donald Trump, especially how he behaved and acted after the assassination attempt. He wasn't alone in that. Republicans and Democrats alike commended the president, how he responded to all of that. But now this, I just wonder whether he's trying to curry favor. What do you think?
Well, my guess is a lot of the timing here is probably driven by the House Judiciary Committee, and I think Chairman Jordan deserves a lot of credit. They put a lot of work in place. They developed the documents, and they effectively reached this point where, as a reporter indicated, Mark Zuckerberg is now confessing to what a lot of people believed was going on. I mean, this has gone from an Orwellian conspiracy to just purely Orwellian. The federal government, the Biden-Harris administration, repeatedly pressured Facebook to censor politically protected speech protected by the First Amendment. And this isn't a one-off. We are in the midst of a very important debate right now about the future of this country, whether we're going to have free speech or whether we're going to have censorship. It's a proxy for a much bigger fight about freedom versus authoritarianism. If someone tells you where they stand on this censorship debate, they're telling you an awful lot of information about their approach to governing.
You know, the one thing I thought of, too, there was a great deal of criticism of Google, right, of Alphabet fame, about if you wanted to research, you know, the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, what you came up with. And it wasn't what you would think. So conservatives had a problem with that. Now, some liberals have a problem with this. It does seem like there's bipartisan rage at social media concerns in general.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we've gone through a number of years here where there's been this surge in censorship, and my position is pretty simple. We need to get back to free speech, and the movement here by Zuckerberg is a good step one. It's an admission. We now have to move to step two, which is accountability. The government officials that were on the other end of the line, whether it was the telephone or emails, pressuring Facebook to take down content, we need to get more information about them and have some accountability there. And I think, look, at least in the interim between now and the election, any social media company that's out there that gets a call from a government official, right, left, or center, to censor speech, they should immediately publicly disclose that. If they feel like they can't because it's national security or something, then at least they need to disclose it to the Judiciary Committee. That transparency, I think, would go a long way towards healing us. It's not enough. I still think we need 230 reform. But that transparency in the short run is very valuable. Real quickly,
while I have you, Commissioner, the Supreme Court essentially had ruled in favor of the Biden administration on this big tech censorship case, a separate case. Justice Alito had warned that the country may come to regret ruling in a fiery dissent here. In other words, that be careful what you wish for, you might get it. Now, that was not the case here. The president and his team were exonerated for essentially doing just that. But it is a slippery slope, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the Zuckerberg letter really is sort of part of the missing piece, potentially, with respect to that Supreme Court case. And again, this isn't a fringe movement towards censorship. Right. The White House is just unabashed, saying, yeah, we've been doing it. We're going to keep doing it. It's not a fringe theory. You have the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, that came out and said there is no right to free speech when it comes to what he views as misinformation. But that's exactly what our First Amendment is about. And we have a choice here about continuing down this path of censorship or re-embracing on a bipartisan basis free speech. At the end of the day, free speech is the bedrock of democracy. We need to return to it.
All right. We'll watch it very closely. Commissioner, great having you back with us. Brendan Carr.